ABC7 Bangor.
This is ABC7 News at Noon.
One person died and 2 others are hospitalized after an early morning fire in Levant Monday. Good afternoon, I'm Susan Farley. A coalition submitted signatures for a citizens' initiative on next year's ballot to create a nonprofit power company for the state. And in our continuing election coverage, we'll take a look at where Paul LePage stands on the issues in his bid for governor. Thank you for joining us. These stories and more are coming up. First, let's check in with meteorologist Devin Biggs. Devin?
Hey Susan, happy Tuesday afternoon and happy first day of November. And your first weather forecast brought to you by Luigi and Fredericks across from Eastern Maine Medical Center, serving the greater Bangor area for over 65 years. We had some fog that did develop this morning. It got pretty thick in a few areas too. This was at some point this morning. Some areas near zero visibility, while some other areas were at 2 miles, if not just a little bit more further out towards the south and east. So again, very hit and miss with regards to the fog, but it was widespread enough to cause a little bit of travel difficulty this morning. Now we do have clouds that's also moving in and a few sprinkles as well. So we're going to be watching for that throughout the daytime period today, as that fog will be going away as we do zoom things out. A lot of the rain staying well to the south, so again, nothing meaningful on the way. So if you're hoping to do some stuff outdoors, you can move ahead and do that. Just keep an eye to the sky, be ready for a few raindrops, but nothing that should cancel anything. The fog will slowly clear out of here later today, along with some clouds, but again, by later on time tomorrow, everything will become relatively clear, with a lot of sunshine away for the daytime tomorrow. A lot of the wind right now is not too bad either. It's going to be relatively quiet, say, with a north wind at times at around 5 miles per hour or less, but gusty winds really get going again for the daytime tomorrow. All right, moving forward for today, lower 60s, mostly cloudy with a few sprinkles, with the wind overall looking nice and calm. In our hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period, or should I say the rest of the morning period, showing a lot of clouds, temperatures in the lower 60s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Susan?
Thank you, Devin. Fire investigators continue to search for answers following a deadly house fire in Levant. Several people were inside neighboring homes when the blaze started early Monday morning. As Craig Colson reports, at least one person was killed in the fire and others were injured.
It was just after 3 o'clock Monday morning when crews were called to a home on the Avenue Road. Fire crews were told people were trapped inside. They say rescuing them became the top priority.
From there, it's protecting life safety. We go into a mode to try to rescue the victims and find out, obviously early in the morning, getting conflicting reports just to establish, do we actually have patients that are trapped?
Fire crews quickly learned there were 5 people living there, some in a mobile home, others in a nearby barn that had an apartment inside. Stephen Barker was inside the mobile home.
I was awake. I actually smelled it before I saw anything. I smelled something that I thought kind of smelled like fire, and then I went outside, and the door to the rest of the house here was on fire.
Barker says he called for his friend and others. It wasn't long before the barn was engulfed in flames.
We were pretty much in a defensive operation. The fire had a really big head start on us. Can't confirm, but working smoke detectors, we always say that makes a difference in saving someone's life. It makes a difference. Working smoke detectors, got to have that to get people out, especially this time of year. You're starting to use different sources of heating.
2 people were pulled from the building. One has since passed away, and another was airlifted to a Boston hospital for treatment. 2 others were also brought to the local hospitals to be checked out. Investigators from the State Fire Marshal's office spent the morning on the scene digging through the remains of the buildings to search for what sparked the deadly fire.
It's one of those things, you always see scenes like this on TV, but you think it's never going to happen to you. And what you realize, I guess, as you get older is it's just a matter of time.
In Levant, this is Craig Colson reporting for ABC7 and Fox 22.
One person died and another was injured in a crash in Washington County yesterday. It happened just before 7:30 on Route 192 in Northfield. Washington County Sheriff Barry Curtis says an investigation determined a car driven by 33-year-old Helen Dominato of Massachusetts crossed the center line into the path of a truck driven by 65-year-old William Sternberg of Jonesboro. Dominato died at the scene. Sternberg was taken to a local hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Curtis says the crash is still under investigation, but it appears speed and alcohol were not factors. Police say a 21-year-old Maine man was killed after his truck flipped over in Harpswell on Monday. The crash happened around 7 a.m. at the intersection of Mountain and Reach Road. According to the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office, Mason Warren of Harpswell was driving a Chevy Silverado when his truck crossed the center line and went off the road and hit a large embankment, causing the vehicle to flip onto its roof. An elderly man who was missing from Etna has been found safe. Game wardens located 74-year-old Joseph Nolan, who had been missing in the woods for nearly 30 hours. Officials say he told them he became lost after going for a walk in the woods to check a game camera at the edge of the Etna bog. Game warden Michael Lottie and his canine Luna managed to pick up his scent around 1:45 Monday morning. At about the same time, heard someone yelling. Nolan was located a short time later. He was hypothermic and dehydrated and couldn't move. After being given food and water and warmed up, Nolan was carried to a clearing where he was loaded onto a Forest Service helicopter and airlifted to safety. The Hancock County Sheriff's Department is currently trying to locate a missing woman. Heather Lambert of Hancock was reported missing by the Sheriff's Department about 1 o'clock yesterday. They ask if you have any information on Heather. Maybe you call the Deputy Marcus Downs at the Sheriff's Office or by sending their Facebook page a message. Members of Our Power Coalition gathered inside the Maine State House Hall of Flags Monday morning to celebrate a milestone. Matthew Jaroncic has more on the story.
In submitting these 80,000 signatures, Maine people have spoken. They want the choice to collectively decide between our failing power companies and a new one.
The Our Power Coalition celebrated receiving the necessary signatures by marching the material to the Secretary of State's office. If approved by voters for next year's ballot, this initiative would replace CMP and Versant Power with Pine Tree Power Company, a publicly operated firm owned and operated by Mainers.
One of the benefits of this is it allows the people of Maine to look forward in a way that our existing investor-owned utilities don't.
This initiative was created after Versant and Central Maine Power both requested electricity rates for Mainers by more than 9% by Versant and 30% by Central Maine Power. Despite the momentum the initiative is seeing, some lawmakers and community members don't agree with this decision.
I think there's a lot of uncertainty. One thing that we can be certain about is we are talking about borrowing billions of dollars that ratepayers will have to pay, and that really concerns me.
It doesn't make sense to me. To me, that's very problematic. This is a bad idea. It's bad for the ratepayers. It's a takeover of a private company. There will be legal battles pending.
Even though the measure has not passed, Woodruff is confident that this program will be for the people.
What the consumer-owned model will allow us to do is, instead of figuring out how to best police the utilities, it gives us the ability to forward plan so that we can make those strategic investments in a way that benefits the customers and not the shareholders of the companies.
Matthew Jaroncic, ABC7 and Fox 22.
As we get closer to Election Day, we're taking a closer look at the candidates. Our A.J. Douglas highlights former Governor Paul LePage's primary focus as Mainers go out to vote.
This election's about the state of Maine, and that's why I'm running.
Back in July 2021, former Governor Paul LePage announced he would run for a third term in the 2022 gubernatorial race. LePage advocated for lower food costs as food insecurity continues to threaten Maine households. LePage promoted investing funds towards growers of livestock and vegetables to lower food costs.
Inflation is a critical issue right now. We need to fight back. So inflation is a man-made problem that doesn't need to be here.
Another one of LePage's top initiatives have been to negotiate decreases in heating oil costs amid regional heating oil shortages. He's criticized Governor Janet Mills on her handling of the issue.
Sending out the $850 to everybody to try to buy the election, which is what she's done, I would have taken a portion of that money and I put it into an account. And I've gone to all the oil dealers and gas dealers and say, charge what you charged last year and send the balance of the payment. The state will pick up the balance.
After the historic overturning of Roe v. Wade back in June, voters have reignited the discussion over abortion. During the Maine gubernatorial debate series, LePage said he has no plans of changing existing abortion laws. However, Governor Janet Mills challenged those claims.
I believe in The bill that's in place right now is a good bill.
Would you let it go into law without your signature?
I don't know. I would.
That's
a
the alternative,
hypothetical.
Mr.
Would
LePage. You know that.
Well,
You've
wait a
been
second.
governor. You know what the options are.
LePage pointed out he never once altered abortion laws in his 8 years in office. He continues to push for detox centers and psychiatric facilities to be built in the future to address the opioid crisis throughout Maine.
You know, this campaign is going to be about faith, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness versus power, control, and mandates.
Coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, we just celebrated Halloween, but for those thinking about Thanksgiving, we've got some news about turkey prices. We'll be right back.
Jared Golden and the Democrats by the numbers. The worst inflation in 40 years. Home heating, groceries, gasoline, all through the roof. 87,000 new IRS agents, $20 billion in new taxes on the middle class, all because 83% of the time, Jared Golden votes with Biden and Pelosi. On November 8, stop the Democrats' war on the middle class. Defeat Jared Golden. The NRCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Janet Mills? 4 years ago, we filmed an ad here supporting her. But Janet has been a disaster for the state of Maine. She's driving up inflation, and her decisions have permanently harmed small businesses and our economy.
And she's bad for seniors and Maine families. Mills raised our electric bill, and she's pushing up home heating costs.
We need Paul LePage now.
We've got to vote for Paul LePage.
Did you know that it's possible to buy the wrong type of flooring for your home? Whether you're a do-it-yourselfer or professional contractor, the experts at Don DeKalb Mainwood Floors are here to help, offering solid pro advice from choosing the right material and color to installation. Don DeKalb features the highest quality hardwood flooring sourced from lumber right here in Maine, from Maine traditions. Not only will you get a floor you'll love, you'll get a floor that will last. Don DeKalb Mainwood Floors, buy from the best, forget the rest.
I would love to retire. The truth is, because of Joe Biden and Jared Golden's policies, there is no way that I can retire. What Jared Golden does and what Jared Golden says are 180 degrees apart. When Jared Golden goes to D.C., he votes the party line. Gas prices, our groceries. Jared Golden's votes are definitely making inflation worse. We need to make a change. We need Bruce Poliquin.
I'm Bruce Poliquin, and I approve this message.
Janet Mills is crushing Maine families. Under her watch, Mainers will face rolling blackouts this winter, putting our most vulnerable, like seniors, at risk. And because of Mills and Joe Biden's failed agenda, Mainers will pay 72% more for home heating oil and $60 more each month for groceries. Mainers can't afford more of the failed Mills agenda. Vote no on Janet Mills. The top funder of Maine Families First is Thomas Klingenstein.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Inflation relief checks have been sent out to more than 850,000 Mainers. The deadline to file a 2021 income tax return has now closed. The Mills administration says the $850 checks, or $1,700 for the average Maine family, is intended to help people deal with rising costs. The relief payments give back more than half of the state's surplus. The measure was proposed by Governor Mills in her supplemental budget and drew on an idea from Republican lawmakers. It was overwhelmingly passed by the state legislature. Investors are digging deeper into the violent attack on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi. The suspect is now facing federal charges. Meanwhile, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are speaking out about what happened and the divisive political rhetoric ahead of the 2022 midterms. Fox's Madeline Rivera has details.
Mr. DePape specifically targeted the Pelosi home to confront Speaker Pelosi.
New details emerge in the attack against House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi. The San Francisco DA's office filing new state charges against suspect 42-year-old David DePape, accused of intentionally targeting the Pelosi home in what the DA calls a politically motivated attack.
The charges that we are filing today include attempted murder, residential burglary, assault with a deadly weapon, elder abuse, false imprisonment of an elder, as well as threats to a public official and their family.
DePape is already facing 2 federal charges of assault and attempted kidnapping for the incident. A federal complaint outlining how DePape told police he planned to hold Speaker Pelosi hostage during the attack. Investigators allegedly found a backpack full of supplies to aid in his effort.
What we also have learned is that the defendant brought to the location of the Pelosi residence a second hammer, as well as zip ties, rope, and a roll of tape.
The disturbing 8-page document also revealing DePape wanted to physically hurt the Democratic leader. He wanted to, quote, break her kneecaps as a sign to other congressional leaders there would be consequences to their actions.
And it's very sad to see that we are once again at a point in history where people believe that it's okay to express their political sentiments through violence.
The complaint further alleges DePape didn't leave after Mr. Pelosi called 911 because, like the American founding fathers with the British, he was, quote, fighting against tyranny without the option of surrender. DePape is set to be arraigned in San Francisco on Tuesday. Jeff Paul.
Russian troops are intensifying their attacks on critical infrastructure in Ukraine. It appears to be retaliation for what Moscow calls a Ukrainian assault on its Black Sea fleet over the weekend. Senior Foreign Affairs correspondent Greg Palcott has the latest.
The Russians fired back again. Over 50 cruise missiles as well as drones targeting Kyiv and other cities. The majority knocked down by Ukraine's air defenses, but some got through. Civilian infrastructure, including the electrical grid, water supply, heating systems in Moscow's sites.
The goals of the strikes were achieved. All designated targets were hit.
This was the scene in one Kyiv neighborhood.
It's getting to be a regular Monday thing here in Kyiv. We are told at least one Russian missile and a drone hit a nearby target. Also knocked out the windows there.
I saw one rocket flying over my house and I heard another one. I feel bad. It's very dangerous.
80% of Kyiv's 3 million residents are without water, 350,000 without power. Kyiv Mayor Klitschko says Russia's actions are like historic horrors.
This is genocide of Ukrainian population. They want to freezing people in our hometown. No water, no electricity, no heating before the winter.
Russia's attacks followed alleged Ukrainian drone strikes on its Black Sea fleet. Ukraine denies responsibility. Moscow also said it was backing out of the UN brokered deal to get grain out of the war zone. Ukraine says, though, that ships are leaving ports anyway.
The most effective step to address the ongoing food security crisis would be for Russia to immediately return to the arrangement and to end its war against Ukraine.
The latest U.S. military aid package helping Ukraine fight. Experts say Moscow's battlefield stumbles are forcing it to hit the Ukrainian home front harder.
The word tonight from officials here is that some water and electricity has been restored to residents. But as Mayor Klitschko reminded us, it could be a long, cold winter.
After the break, we'll take a look at postpartum depression. New research shows it may last longer than you think. That's next. We'll be right back.
I've got plans. We've all got them. But Bruce Poliquin's plans would put Social Security benefits at risk. He planned to raise the retirement age and cap retirees' cost of living increases. He even opposed allowing Medicare to negotiate cheaper drug prices. But Jared Golden didn't just plan. He passed legislation to cap seniors' drug costs and let Medicare negotiate drug prices. Jared Golden is the man with the right plan.
DCCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Napa knows how to stay warm, and with 29 locations in Maine, Coastal Auto Parts has just what you need to prepare for any outdoor activity. Lightweight, durable, and designed for comfort, Milwaukee's heat-on-demand jackets and hoodies are perfect for cold weather. And stay warm even longer with a free battery when you purchase any M12 heated gear with Milwaukee's e-rebate program. And while you're here, sign up for Napa Rewards. You'll save more each time you shop. Coastal Auto Parts is owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
In Maine, our independence, hard work, and freedoms mean everything, but not to Paul LePage. He's repeatedly attacked women's reproductive freedom. LePage supported letting states ban abortion with no exceptions for rape or incest, defunded family planning programs, and told extremists we shouldn't have abortion. He's a risk to our health and freedom, and it's why we can't go back to Paul LePage. The top funder of Better Maine is the Democratic Governors Association.
After 9/11, Jared Golden joined the Marines and served the country he loves.
When he returned, he ran for office to serve the state he calls home. He passed legislation to cap the cost of insulin for seniors and lower drug prices for people across Maine. But Bruce Poliquin, he went from Wall Street to Washington to serve himself, taking thousands from drug companies and voting against capping costs. Jared Golden, from here for us. Moderate PAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Joe Baldacci was born, raised, and educated right here in Bangor. He's promoted and supported hundreds of millions of dollars in commercial and economic development projects. He has fought to protect vital services from drastic budget cuts. In his first term in the state Senate, Joe delivered for his constituents in Bangor and Herman on jobs, school funding, expansion of health care, and protecting the environment. Joe Baldacci, delivering results for the people of Bangor and Herman.
The countdown to Thanksgiving is about to begin. Ongoing inflation and a crippling strain of the bird flu are spelling bad news for consumers ahead of the big day. Richard Jordan has more on why the cost of your turkey may leave a bad taste in your mouth this year.
Price is almost certainly going to be higher.
They're predominantly flightless birds, but the cost of turkey ahead of the quickly approaching Thanksgiving holiday is soaring. The Department of Agriculture reports prices for an 8 to 16 pound bird are up by 73% from last year. But ongoing inflation is only partially to blame, with the H5N1 strain of the bird flu also responsible for the dramatic price surge.
H5N1 is of significant concern because it causes significant morbidity and mortality in domestic birds.
Although it poses low risk for people, bird flu is extremely contagious for turkeys, chickens, and several species of wild birds. Since January, cases have been reported in at least 43 states, with farms forced to kill millions of birds to try to stop the spread. The USDA reports more than 6 million of those killed were turkeys.
We've heard everybody say, wow, the egg prices have gotten high this year, or the poultry prices have gotten high, or I can't find a turkey for Thanksgiving, and this is why.
Wildlife experts say bird flu risk could worsen heading into winter as wild birds continue migrating, oftentimes landing near domesticated farms and spreading the virus along the way. But if bird flu cases don't elevate, analysts expect prices for next year may not be so painful.
Looking into 2023, we're only expecting a 0 to 5% increase in turkey prices.
Postpartum depression may last longer than you think. According to new research, it affects about 25% of parents with children more than a year old. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze sheds light on the problem.
Postpartum depression is known for causing depressive symptoms in new parents, but new research is showing symptoms occur after 1 year. Researchers at Rutgers University found a quarter of parents with children over a year old still deal with postpartum depression. If untreated, it can have a negative impact on the entire family. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends screening for parental postpartum depression up to 1 year post-birth. Only some pediatricians say they performed screenings, and many did not have adequate tools to do so. Extending screening times past a year and giving pediatricians better assistance could make a difference for many families. Be sure to talk to your doctor or your child's pediatrician if you experience depressive symptoms or to learn more. With this Medical Minute, I'm Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News.
When we return, Devin Biggs has your 5-day forecast.
Hi, my name is Tony Ruda, founder of the Senior Planning Center. There isn't a week that goes by that we don't help some Medicare recipient in their Medicare programs and save them money. The Senior Planning Center has locations and agents throughout the state of Maine. So why would you want to call an 800 number out of state when the help is right here at home? Give us a call so we can help you save money and make your Medicare decisions.
Jared Golden and the Democrats by the numbers. The worst inflation in 40 years. Home heating, groceries, gasoline, all through the roof. 87,000 new IRS agents. $20 billion in new taxes on the middle class. All because 83% of the time, Jared Golden votes with Biden and Pelosi. On November 8, stop the Democrats' war on the middle class. Defeat Jared Golden. The NRCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Hey, it's Eric from Green Bear 420. We've been in business since 2010 and going strong, so stop in and check us out. We specialize in glass art by over 100 local artists and even have live glass blowing. Plus, we carry incense, novelties, t-shirts, and hard-to-find items. We have tons of local products for the tie-dye wearing person in your circle of friends. Come see us at 531 Moosehead Trail in Newport. And remember, Green Bear 420, it's not just a store, it's a lifestyle.
If you've been hurt in a car accident, watch out. If you wait too long to hire a lawyer, it may hurt your case. Call the twos and we'll watch out for you.
Lowry and Associates watched out for me and got me $150,000.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
Welcome back. It's the first day of November. Let's check your full forecast with Devin Biggs. Devin?
Alrighty, happy Tuesday afternoon. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Scott's Recreation, New England's largest trailer dealer, home of Maine's lowest camper and tractor prices, with locations in Turner, Manchester, Herman, and Orono, Maine. Alrighty, fog did get going this morning. Got thick in a few spots. So were Millinocket, Waterville, and areas to the south and west saw less than a half-mile visibility. Bangor, a 2-mile visibility. Other areas, though, not too bad. But just keep in mind, though, this fog has since started to go away. And we're going to be seeing some clouds for the rest of the afternoon period, and a few sprinkles in some spots as well. So nothing to get alarmed about. You can still do stuff outside. Just don't be surprised if you do notice a few raindrops from time to time. As the system right here continues to track off towards the east, another one off toward the north as well. This will begin to move in and clear everything out later on tonight. So not as much wind today. This is looking very nice. Well, again, maybe there's a light breeze at best, and that'll be about it. But late tonight and in parts of tomorrow, some gusty winds get going. Will gusts up to 25 miles per hour at times, and that'll be a northwest wind, ushering in a little bit in a way some cooler air. But here we are, though, 3 to 4 foot wave heights being noted, even some areas up to 6 feet. So far, no small craft advisories in effect. We'll see if they do issue some later today for the winds. That'll begin to move in later tonight and parts of the daytime tomorrow. But temperatures, we have been spoiled recently with temperatures in the 60s and 70s. A few days like Thursday, October 20th, and Friday, October 28th, seeing some days in the 50s. But we have been very warm recently. We're taking a little bit of a step back for a few days as our average high is 52 degrees. We'll race for the lower 60s. Still not too bad today. Then we fall into the upper 50s Wednesday. A few of you can touch the 60s. Middle 50s Thursday. Then we're back in the 60s as we head towards Friday into Saturday, and maybe even some 70s, getting close to it as we head towards Sunday and near Monday. Moving forward for today, a few sprinkles can't be ruled out. The fog will go away. The clouds clear out of here after midnight later on tonight, with a mostly clear sky afterwards. So the general idea is a partly cloudy sky tonight, with a lot of sunshine on the way for the daytime tomorrow. Maybe some fog to start things off early again in a few areas, but overall staying relatively clear, at least through parts of early Thursday morning as well. Your forecast for today, lower 60s, mostly cloudy with a few sprinkles possible, and the wind overall looking nice and calm. For tonight, middle 40s, partly cloudy, not too bad. We'll see some decreasing clouds after midnight, northwest wind up to 5 miles per hour. Moving ahead towards tomorrow, upper 50s, maybe lower 60s, mostly sunny and breezy, north wind getting up to around 25 miles per hour. Scott's Recreation extended forecast, a lot of sunshine, a few passing clouds on Thursday as well, highs in the mid-50s. We're back in the mid-60s on Friday with a partly cloudy sky, and we're mostly cloudy on Saturday, highs in the mid-60s.
Thank you, Devin. These temperatures are a little bit easier on the fuel bill. That's all for ABC 7 News at noon. Thanks for watching. I'm Susan Farley. We'll see you this evening with Peter Dubois and Beth Jones on ABC 7 News at 6. Have a great afternoon.
This Veterans Day, join Fox ABC Maine as we salute and honor our veterans. Are you an active, inactive, or retired member of the armed services? Do you know someone who is? Then upload your photos on foxbangor.com/Maine Heroes. We will randomly select as many veterans as possible to win a gift card. Locally sponsored by McLaughlin Seafood, Mountain Sports Shop, Tossie's Checkout and Convenience Store, and Tony Murray's Fairway Auto Sales.
You're watching ABC 7 Bang.